welcome to a presentation on vocalization as a communication behavior. To begin, we should first discuss what vocalizations are. Vocalizations are a broadband description of verbal signals used by animals to communicate directly with one another. These behaviors can be broken down into specific acts that each characterize a different meaning depending on the species and its situation. Some examples of these vocalizations include barking, crying, cooing, growling, howling, squealing, yelping, wailing, etc., etc. In short, vocalizations can be characterized in many different ways, and each has a unique meaning and context. In the next few slides, we will go in depth into each of these verbal cues and what they may mean. So to start, we will define a couple of different vocalizations in terms of classes. These classes vary in tone, duration, and meaning depending on the species it's derived from. Barks are abrupt and loud vocalizations that are typically exhibited by canines and mammals to attract attention. Grunts are low-toned vocalizations that can relay emotional distress such as discomfort. Growling is an aggressive behavior that involves rumbling, low-toned vocalizations, typically through clenched teeth. And howling is characterized by long vocalizations that have varied meanings, depending on the context. And while squealing is usually an indication of pain, fear, or anxiety, and are described as long, sharp, and shrill vocalizations, yelping also conveys pain, but in a much shorter manner. With a few of these vocalizations classified, let's move on to why animals might use vocalizations apart from their understood meaning. Animal vocalizations can give insight into an animal sender's physical state, motivational state, sexual maturity, or to help mediate social interactions. As each of these vocalizations have different meanings, they're almost a form of language that allow a sender to relay information about themselves to whoever is listening. This goes to provide context for social interactions and the state of being for the sender. Vocalizations were likely evolved as a defense mechanism for animals to relay information about predators, since this behavior is prevalent in prey species such as animals, herd animals such as bovine and antelopes. Another why question to ask is why vocalizations persist. Vocalizations, as we said, help mediate social interactions and provide information to other animals. In social species, these animals are key to survival, allowing for information to spread regarding foraging opportunities, ready mating, territorial warnings, or to notify members of a group of hazardous elements. As generations propagate exhibiting these behaviors, they are passed down to offspring as learned behaviors because they increase the fitness within their social environment. This explains why communication persists in animals in some social capacity. This ties into the idea that vocalizations are a form of adaptive behavior. Adaptive behaviors are behaviors that allow a species to better survive an environment or have evolved as a response to stimulus. These behaviors display integration of current and past experiences within decision making. Animals that vocalize can communicate with other members other than their species to relay information that is pertinent to their survival. This can be arranged from relaying sources of danger to predators making their presence known to avoid competition. Additionally, vocalizations can be used as a mating behavior to indicate sexual maturity. Coyotes use vocalization as a form of relaying information such as location to other pack members, but also relay that information to eavesdropping prey, limiting their hunting success. The reason this is considered an adaptive behavior is that it requires members of a species to recollect the meaning of these calls and act or respond accordingly in that current situation. Despite these benefits, vocalizations can be problematic as members of the species aren't the only ones listening. For instance, loud vocalizations would directly indicate a creature's position that can be taken advantage of by predators. It would be problematic to perform a mating call, expecting to find a mate, only to get removed from the food chain. Here we have an example study performed on rhesus monkeys in order to display the adaptive value in vocalizations. In short, monkeys were provided juice rewards dependent on their selection between two choices. One of those choices represented an audio track with species-specific vocalizations, and the other selection was presented. Either selection was presented to the monkey, gave a juice reward, where the audio-related one had a larger portion. Despite recognition of the audio cue, the 4 sample monkeys quickly gravitated towards a choice that had more reward. Given in this context, vocalizations were described as having a low adaptive value but would vary wildly in an uncontrolled environment, such as outside of the lab. This became evident as monkeys had begun to associate the audio cues with the larger rewards. Our next point of topic involves the communication has evolved and the vocalization exists as a trait that varies between species. The pre-existing trait hypothesis states that signals evolve based on the sender's pre-existing traits that provide information that can be modified into a signal. It can be argued that having social or vocal structures acts as a morphological characteristic that changes based on the sender's condition. Depending on the condition of the sender, the vocalization or signal that is sent will vary. Subsequently, vocalizations as a behavior of relaying varied information due to condition evolved as a form of communication. The third and final topic to discuss is honest and dishonest signaling. What this entails is the distinction between vocal cues in their reliability. An honest signal is a behavior that reports a sender and is sending reliable information, and a dishonest signal is represented by a sender sending or providing false information. Simple as. What is less simple is depicting this notion in nature. However, a study was performed on the effects of morphological changes in lemurs and their vocal responses. The study conducted indicated a negative correlation between the quality of the signals and the sender's physical state. As the lemurs were subjected to lower caloric diets, the tone of the grunts and other vocalizations rose in all samples. This change in tone represented a decline in the health, which was an honest signal relayed by the lemurs through their vocalizations. The direct correlation that was represented in this experiment was that the vocalization was modified due to physical condition of the sender and therefore displayed honest signaling based on their condition. Coyotes also displayed honest signaling through howling to define the territorial regions. This is an honest signal as it relays intent to maintain territory within the vocalization. The question still remains why it evolved in different species, such as lemurs and coyotes. Lemurs use vocalizations to maintain communication with group members at a distance. This allows them to relay information to one another when separated while foraging and gives them an opportunity for the presence of predators to be relayed to other members of the group. On the opposite side of the prey-predator perspective, coyotes use these vocalizations of other animals to identify and target potential prey. Vocalizations such as howling are used by coyotes to indicate the presence of a fresh kill among other social interactions. This would allow them to reliably secure prey with the help of other pack members and increasing the survivability of the pack and generating fitness. Depending on the circumstances, a coyote's howl can mean anything, indicating a fresh kill to denoting the presence in a region for other packs. In this video, howling is depicted as a form of relaying location to a coyote's own pack. As this video is 8 minutes long, I will not display it in its entirety, but the idea that howls can have multiple meanings is presented as a form of varied communication. In the continued context of coyotes, the behavior evolved as a social mechanism that allows pack members to communicate effectively and relay information. While this will benefit the pack by identifying resources, indicating mating possibilities, and providing vigilance of territory, it also relays information to any other eavesdroppers. This means to say that other animals, such as prey, can gather information provided by these vocalizations and act accordingly to evade predation. Stealth can be essential for successful predation, and loud vocalizations can be a detriment at the wrong time. This behavior is more adaptive than social animals that can utilize this information. Respectively, vocalizations are maladaptive behaviors for asocial animals, as it would relay important information such as location and physical distress if present. Vocalizations are prevalent throughout the world in various species and have been recorded in history for thousands of years. In short, vocalizations are the best used in social environments to relay information between everyone within that space, including other species. And here are my citations, but with that, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day.